Welcome back, everybody. This is JP Trades. Let's jump into the daily updates for the ES or SP500. Yesterday, we see that we had a extremely nice long setup. We had a very, very tiny order block as well as a CME gap fill, which this was a nice gap and go trade that was pretty much a 9.5 hour trade. Actually, if you tighten up that stop loss just a bit to the bottom of that order block, you had an 11.5 hour trade on that. That was incredible. We're going to snapshot that and put it in the Discord for another successful trade setup. So let's knock that one out. Can take that off our screens now, and we are left with the newly formed order blocks. It's actually this entire move left a 12-hour order block. So that's a very, very nice level of demand. But before we get into that, let's just take a look at structure by itself. So we are in this downtrend. Let's go to the 4-hour. We can see some nice, massive legs of structure on the 4-hour. We're clearing out this massive imbalance candle. Right now, we're hitting into this 4-hour and even, I think it's, 8-hour and even a 12-hour order block right now. So this is a very, very nice short zone that we're tapping into now and starting to reject. We've already rejected once. And let's take a look at that. We did reject. We came out and took out the previous day VWAP. And basically, right at the top of your last demand range. So if you took this entire bit of structure or range, we tapped into the entire demand range already. But I would love for it to come back down maybe a couple more times and tap into some refined order blocks. And again, if you want to know what kind of order blocks I use, I only use one style of order blocks because they are the best. And I made a video on that recently in my YouTube channel, so check that one out. Okay, so let's take a look at our range here. We did come up to this nice golden zone, almost hit the 786 there, but not quite. You can see we're kind of following this trend line here, or maybe a channel. Let's see what we got. Let's take it from this. So these might just be deviations of that channel there, or it might be something more like that, or that's a pretty clean tap as well. So that gives us a little bit of confluence for those who like to use channels or trend lines. I like to look at them, but I don't really play off of those as much as my static horizontal lines, especially the liquidity areas in the market. And this was a very, very nice hit right here. Oops, don't want that. Go back to my horizontal. So that was a very, very nice demand hit. And we had a very, very nice buyback at that level. So I do wonder if we are going to reclaim VWAP. If we reclaim VWAP, I think we're just going to move this higher from here today. So, and it certainly is trying right now. Yeah, you got a little bit of a battle here at VWAP. Anyways, let's get back into the structure. So we see that on the higher, let's go back to the 4-hour. So we see our structure pull from the high here. We don't take that low until down here. So this range that we have pulled is your current 4-hour high low. So if we trade below this low, I would expect it to come down, back test, and go down further. Again, we're kind of just looking at something like this until we get the idea that the market structure trend is changing. Let's go down to the 1 hour. So we do see that we have a 1 hour shift in market structure here. So just like our Bitcoin update, the 1 hour has already shifted. However, we're waiting on the 4 hour to shift along. And if we do start trading above here, closing above, and then changing this 4 hour downtrend. And again, what does that look like? Like that. Let's move all of that. So you're following this down as a 4 hour. We trade above this area, come back for a back test, and then go higher. If we break this high, this 4 hour structure high, that to me on both ES and Bitcoin is going to be very bullish. But I'll also watch for an SFP of this high. Trap tons of longs in, because I believe people will be getting bullish. So this is our 4 hour pending market structure shift. And let's copy that because we also have the other one down here as well. So now you have your range or your market structure brackets, and we're trading inside this range. So this is where we're going to look for intraday setups. Right here was already a very nice long to be positioned for this next higher low. Unfortunately, that has already happened. So we would want to consider something like that. So if we do start coming up here and have a nice rejection from this supply, I would then look back to this range too long for the next high to shoot for this market structure high on the 4 hour. If we start trading below this low, that would mean your 1 hour structure is starting to get bearish again. And if that happens, I would want to target that low, the 4 hour, and maybe even beyond. Because to me, if we start closing below this low, that's going to be confirmation for me that we are just going to make another new low and continue this downtrend on. So both this high and low are pretty important right now to see which way the bigger trend is going. Got alerts going off. Okay, so let's bring back our order blocks. We didn't quite hit into any of these order blocks here, so I would love for it to come back down and actually bounce somewhere in here. However, if we take our range from the bottom up, we see that we have the golden pocket right here where all these high volume key levels are. So let's start to draw out our plans. So right here could be a nice bounce, but to be honest with you, I would want this to be a scalp. So where it would look something like this and then come down here for the real move. If we were to make it up here first and hit this naked point of control into the supply, definitely look for a short to come back down to one of these areas for that long. Same thing with this high. I would want to have an SFP into this order block, take out those two naked VWAPs, back tests, come back down. If we go below this order block, I would honestly look for an SFP of the lows here to come back up, take out these high volume key levels, come back into the range and trade up, hopefully getting back bullish to take that high out. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades for our S&P setups for today. Let's go ahead and save that. And let's screenshot this for the Discord. And anything else changes, I will update my charts as we go along, and I'll catch you on the Discord.